so glad I had hairpins in my car because this shit was like flying.
Oh, it look good still.
Thank you. It was flying. It was all over the place. Well.
So we back for season 2. We back for season 2. How you feel, bro?
I got the dancing spirit.
It feels good. Shoot.
I don't know. Happy to be back talking with my favorite person.
Okay.
To talk to.
Hold up. We got a whole announcement to make.
We did have a whole announcement.
So guys, let me just.
Wait, calm down.
So my freaking co-host / best friend / support / bomb ass bitch ass friend launched her journals on yesterday, which was February the 12th. Yes. If you have not seen author Brittany D's journals, there's like 9, y'all. There's like 9 of them. I didn't know what to choose from, what to pick. I bought one and I got one as a gift. I'm gonna buy another. Okay, I have my gifts for the rest of the year for people. She has launched her journals. When I tell y'all the quality of the journals, the designs of the journals, how connected I felt when I saw them. The shits are bomb. Brittany, plug yourself. Tell them how they can get their hands on these journals, please.
So thank you 1,000 times over. And it would be disrespectful of me to not give Shawana her props. If you're not following us, please follow us at Rightfully So Brittany and Predominantly Love.
Okay.
But to launch my photos, I felt like it was very appropriate for Shawana to take my pictures. Not because she's a bomb-ass photographer, but anybody who's ever done a branding or content shoot, you can't have just anybody take your photos because things have to be executed a certain way. And whatever you're selling, you know, that has to be shown in a certain light. Like the photo shoot shouldn't be about you, it should be about your product.
Okay.
So I have to thank her for being a bomb-ass photographer and exceeding literally all expectations that I had of launching and what I wanted my stuff to look like. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
But
it was easy because the stuff was good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But my stuff is on Amazon. My journals are on Amazon. And it's something for all ages. It's up for little girls, teenagers, adult women. I have like a neutral one that guys can get. So yeah, it's on Amazon under my author name, Brittany D. Or if you go to my website, rightfullysobrittany.com, they are there.
Multiple.
For anybody listening to this podcast, Shawana walked off like, why is she getting that? Okay, so. Okay, look at my brainstorming
this
notebook. This is one of my favorite. Well, all of them are my favorites for different reasons. But yeah, this is like one of the top. I think like the first 5 that I made. So yes, Amazon or rightfullysobrittany.com. Get your journals, buy them for the people you love, and yeah.
Because if it's anything you're supposed to be doing right now, writing stuff down is one of them. But no, seriously, y'all.
For real.
I've been needing one for all my ideas, and I was like, this is it. And then I ordered the other one because the shit is just bomb. So
thank you.
Had to put that in there, y'all. We was not about to start season 2 and go into these topics and get deep on y'all without plugging y'all and letting y'all know this stuff that y'all need to have in your possession.
Yes.
A Brittany D journal, okay?
Please.
Proud of my bitch.
Thank you.
So let's get into it, Britt. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the word, the burden of strength versus, you know, empowerment or being empowered.
Okay.
Which, you know, I don't want to say this might be a heavy episode. I think it might be an eye-opening episode.
I think so too.
So yeah, I think this is going to be an eye-opening conversation that I'm excited to have.
I totally agree because I feel like the way we as black women, when you say black women, I think immediately you think strong. Because we the backbone.
In the dictionary.
Come on now.
Literally.
That's the first thing you see when you hear the word strong, and when you hear black women, it's like interchangeable because we're the backbones. They say behind every strong black man is a strong black woman, and we kind of fuel everything. And while I think for so long we've looked at that as something to be proud of, and it is, there's a very, very strong negative connotation with that type of strong, because we're expected to show up even when we have nothing left. We're expected to pull through when everybody else can't, and it's depriving of like just who we are as individuals. Right. So today I feel like we both was like, just like, this is going to be a great first episode, because ourselves, I feel like have just learned during this time how to show up for self first. How it's not even strong to show up for self. It's empowering to show up for yourself.
It is.
So we're going to use this episode to just kind of break down strong versus empowered, our personal experiences with being strong, and how we can kind of change this narrative for not just us, but all Black women, to start empowering ourselves and empowering others versus throwing around this term to be strong.
Okay, so if we want to get technical with, like, you know, Webster, strong actually means having the power to move heavy weights or perform other physically demanding tasks.
Damn.
Able to perform a specified action well and powerfully, exerting great force, possessing skills and qualities that create a likelihood of success, likely to succeed because of sound reasoning or convincing evidence. That's an interesting definition.
That is crazy. Out the gate though?
Like, literally those are like the first things that come up when you define strength.
And when you define empower, it says to give someone the authority or power to do something. So it don't even get into them specific stipulations that you think about when you say somebody's strong. It just means literally giving someone either the knowledge or the tools to do what they need to do, whatever that looks like. I think that in itself screams a lot. Can you read that first line again from the definition of strong?
Yeah, I'm actually like kind of startled. Like, I didn't expect that. Having the power to move heavy weights or perform other physically demanding tasks.
Having the power to perform heavy
move heavy weights or perform other physically demanding tasks.
Now that don't sound.
And I'm bothered by this. Where is it at? Likely to succeed because of sound reasoning or convincing evidence.
Listen, it just sounds robotic, and that is what I think 2019 taught me more than anything, that I was fueling myself and pushing myself off strength. Like, my pride was in the fact that despite what was going on with me, I was going to try to find something from somewhere to keep pushing, thinking that was like, you know, the right thing to do. Oh, just keep it moving. Everything not going to be all good, but as long as you just keep on going, it's going to be fine. And everything came to a crash and halt eventually, because I had nothing left. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, there was nothing left. All I was doing was pulling from what I had physically. That what the definition of what strong said.
Yeah.
And it faded on me. It doesn't last. Had I been empowered during that time, I might not have hit so many crashes in the road the way that I literally crashed in the road. I don't think I would have hit as many had I known the difference between being strong and empowered. So, Brittany, what's some of your experiences that you like kind of had where being strong was what got you through at that time, but you realized, did it really help me or did it hinder me?
2019. As soon as the year left your lips, I was like, "That was where we go with this." It definitely was not a good thing. Like, if I had a fault in 2019, it was acting like I was okay. Like, trying to be strong for me, trying to be strong for other people, and acting like I was not, like, barely making it. And I think a lot of us do that, even if you get into, like, the history of, like, Black women being strong. Like, that comes from slavery. It comes from, you know, us having to survive. It comes from us, you know, having to build lives even though, you know, our partners or husbands have been taken from us and sold to other plantations, and now it's just us and these children, and we're taking care of these white people. And it's kind of like, you know, this is your day-to-day. You get used to it, and you are a strong Black woman because you have endured so much pain.
You can handle it.
Yes. And it's like we never got rid of it. Like, through, you know, all the years of civil rights down to now. It's just this, because you endured pain, you are a strong black woman. Because you're black, you can get through any fucking thing. And you just better know that you can.
And because you went through that tumultuous time and you still here, that means you can do it again.
Look how that is an indication of your strength. It's like a fucking infomercial. Like, you know what? If you have experienced this, and this, you fit the criteria for being strong.
You're good.
Yeah, and one of those bullet points is because you're black.
Okay. Period.
But yeah, for me, it was just like my fucking life was falling apart, and part of it was me deflecting. I didn't want to focus on that. And the other part was, you know what? Like, no, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm strong. I'm good. I'm going to get through this. Other people need me. There are other things I can focus on. Mm-hmm. And that was like one of the biggest mistakes that I like made, like ever. Like, if I think of any time that being strong was not the thing to do at the time, it was 2019. Yeah. Like, yeah, that just wasn't the move. So yeah, I think that is like my, at the time, it just felt like the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. Which is typical of a lot of women.
Because what we're taught early, like, do for everybody and put yourself last. And, which is a great segue into how to be empowered, because I feel like taking on that mindset, like I'm empowering myself, empowerment is all about putting yourself first. It's all about, okay, what resources or what do I need to do today to help so that I'm in a good place, so that I can be of help to other people, even though it's not always about that. You just, if you're the type of people, like I know me and Brittany are, we have a heart for people. We have a heart to help others, we're fixers, like naturally. Mm-hmm. But with that, if you don't have the boundaries, and if your self-care is not top notch, you will be depleted, taken advantage of, connected to the wrong people, and it's hard to detach, because in our heads we're trying to make it better. So I feel like with being empowered, it teaches you to feed yourself what you need so that you're okay regardless. And on different days that may look like doing nothing. On different days that may look like taking the time to actually dedicate to yourself, because you value yourself by valuing your time. That may be being organized, that may be cleaning, but knowing the differences between strong and empowerment allows you to, I feel like, just flow with everyday life, and to set boundaries in a healthy way, and to connect with people in a healthy way. So, Britt, my question for you was what was you about to say?
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was going to say, what do you do, like, on your own personal time to, like, empower yourself?
Yes. So, yes. When I was younger, I used to pride myself on being there for people. Mm-hmm. Like, regardless of what I had going on, I used to love, like, I showed up for somebody. I had XYZ going on, and I still showed up for somebody. Sorry if I offend somebody, that's the dumbest shit ever. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I think one thing that I have learned as I've gotten older, it was already kind of laying inside of me from seeing how my parents were, because my parents stayed together for me. But people don't understand, when you are not okay, or like if your marriage is not okay, nothing around you is gonna thrive. Yeah. So that whole idea of staying together for the kids, they're gonna be fucking miserable because y'all are miserable. And it's the same thing, like, personally. Like, if you are not okay, like, really, how much can you help somebody without, like, pushing yourself over? So for me, I had to learn how to have boundaries. Like, if my phone is on Do Not Disturb after a certain time,
it is what it is.
You can catch that text in the morning time. You don't need to be calling me at 10 o'clock at night anyway. Now, if it's an emergency, you know, of course, if we can just go from there. But 9 times out of 10, I had to learn, half the time I can't even do shit about stuff anyway. Like, really, what am I gonna do? So just learning that you can't be there for every fucking thing for every fucking person. You just can't. And it's almost like learning that burning myself out, that's not a compliment. Like, that's not a good thing. Like, it drives me insane when people are just, and it's mainly women, they're just on this thing of like, no, but I have to make sure this is taken care of, this is taken care of, this is taken care of. Like, you can be about your business, but at the same time, it's like, if somebody else can do something, let them. Like, if somebody else can take over something, let them. Like, and then I think people need to understand, why do you have to be in charge? Like, why do you got to be in control? Because some of that is either a defense mechanism or a trauma response. Why are you trying to be in control of everything?
Okay.
So for the biggest thing for me has been, if I'm not alright, I'm not alright. I ain't gotta explain that to everybody, but Brittany, look, you know. Look, sit this one out, okay? Send a quick text, you know, hey, I'm here if you need me. But trying to push a conversation on people, or trying to make it known 10, 20, 30 times that I'm there, like, that shit is redundant. Like, it's just, for what? So the biggest thing for me has been setting my boundaries, knowing I can't have control over certain situations, and being okay with letting things be. Some shit just don't pertain to me, affect me. Some shit is not my business.
Okay.
So the best thing for me has been staying out the way, staying in my house. If somebody need me, I'm gonna be there, of course. But overly being available, absolutely not. So no. Okay. I have empowered myself by taking care of myself mentally.
Yes.
What about you?
So, before I get to me, Brittany said something, and it was a tweet I retweeted this morning. I'm sitting here scrolling trying to find it, but it was along the lines of saying, basically, if you love, here it is. If you love someone, let them do their own work. If you really love somebody, you remove yourself from the situation. You remove your personal, because I know one thing with women, I have 2 friends currently right now, we talk about it all the time. They know that it's basically a negative thing for themselves to keep trying to, like, show up for other people, or only come around when they're strong enough to, when they don't feel like they deserve help. That's another thing about being strong. We don't reach out for help when we need help.
Yep. Because
we can figure it out on our own. So I got 2 friends that are experiencing that right now. And they're like, I know that it's not a positive thing, but I still just don't feel valued if I'm not doing X, Y, Z for certain people, because they've been doing it their whole lives. And I know how hard, Brittany can attest to this, how hard it was for me to break out of that. Like, I literally would disappear until I felt like I had everything I needed to show up for other people. Right. And it came off as, oh, you only around when you want something, or you act funny during certain times, or how come you don't communicate my whole time? I be over here going through all kind of shit and nobody knows, because I don't open my, because I'm strong. I don't open my mouth and say anything. Oh no, that's just me. I isolate, you know what I'm saying, when I'm going through, and whole time I'm still trying to help other people low key. And I don't have nothing left to give, so I just felt like that needed to be said. Like Brittany said, like, it's the dumbest thing she ever heard, because if you really love somebody, you'll let them figure it out on their own, because that's how it sticks. When they do it on their own and it's not you always trying to, come in and save the day, that's how they really heal. And if you really love somebody, you want them to consistently make progress, not just because you've showed up and done something to help them at the time. That's
exactly. And it's like, even though your intentions may be good, it's just some shit that does not pertain to you. And like Shawana said earlier, the fixer in me just never saw it that way. Like, I just found pride in helping people. But yeah, I mean, it's a hard ass lesson to learn, especially when you come from anybody who's a child that's been parentified. If you come from any kind of trauma background, a lot of times you take that initiative to, I am going to be the nurturer and the person that is going to fix all, be all, conquer all. And it's kind of like we put that pressure on ourselves, and
and then when it's not reciprocated,
it's a problem.
Then we really get upset. But the whole time, that wasn't even our job to be doing. So now we all bent out of shape, because, well, I know damn well I was worthy of reciprocation, but I wasn't even supposed to even be doing that. You know what I'm saying? And if I wasn't, you weren't the right person. Right. I ain't have my boundaries in place, so I didn't realize that maybe only this person I can give that kind of energy to, because they give that same energy naturally. All about alignment. But to get into my own personal, the way that I empower myself, same thing with Brittany, I have to enforce my boundaries, regardless to how, initially for me, it was uncomfortable for me to enforce boundaries, because I really felt like I was wronging people, because they were not used to me being like, no, or just being like, I don't resonate with that, because I always try to hear people's sides. So much in the past where I would alter what I felt like I knew to be true, because somebody else that I valued in their opinion, to change it. And that's not, it just wasn't. So enforcing boundaries is like my number one. And I have to really, I don't know if you guys are into like affirmations. I don't know if y'all are into like journaling. Writing, it has always saved my life and it's continuing to save my life. I have to write out my feelings. I have to literally like process my day before the day happens and as it's going on. Like there's just a lot of work that I have to do with myself like consistently. And I don't think forms of empowerment will be the same for everybody. I have like really bad anxiety and my trauma is deep. So what I have to do to be empowered may sound look a little different than Brittany versus somebody else. But I feel like most of the things in general can be helpful for somebody. So I'll say for me, affirming myself daily, journaling, setting my boundaries, and I have to say this one. Noticing red flags the first time you see them. Noticing the red flags. Not even just noticing them. Acknowledging the red flags when I first see them. And not giving my energy where I know it's gonna fall upon dead soil. Like only giving certain energy and just even doing things for people with people I know I'm supposed to be connected to. So yeah.
That's a good list.
That's
a good list. I like that.
So yeah, that's my list.
So we kind of said some already. What do you feel like the negatives are when people continue on this strength, this path of I'm strong. I come from girl. I hear this line. I come from a line of strong women. Okay, sis, go ahead with your bad ass.
You're about to break down.
Yes, but I mean, really though, like what are the negatives of you just drive that like over and over again?
So from personal experience, you get to a point where one, you feel like you can't trust anybody. You start isolating.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point because it's very true.
You start isolating, and then you don't trust yourself. It's almost like all that helping and all that giving turns into you stop doing it altogether. When really, when you're a giver at heart, you're never supposed to stop. Like Brittany said, it's about enforcing boundaries and giving it to people who reciprocate. So, but when you continue on that path, you find yourself in isolation. You feel like you can't trust anybody. And I feel like we go into these phases of like having our heart hardened. We don't let anybody in. And it's just like I'm a fend for myself. It's me against the world. And that leads to destruction, I feel like a lot of times. You might find some type of success or get to a goal that way because you're that strong definition, because you're driven. But eventually when your inner core isn't right and you haven't been feeding yourself spiritually or feeding yourself emotionally, going to therapy, those type of things, you have a breakdown. You're gonna hit some type of a wall eventually when you're doing that. And sometimes it's hard to bounce back from hitting that wall. Sometimes some people don't bounce back.
No,
some people don't bounce back from hitting that wall, or they have to completely reroute their lives to something different because of how traumatic hitting the wall was. So that's one negative thing. Just you crash and burn eventually. There is no. I don't know if I've ever seen that successfully work and there didn't need to be a turning point somewhere.
Very true. I completely agree.
What about you?
You